All right. Hello, everybody. We are live. Okay. So I made a post earlier today saying that I would make this video, this live stream, if it was desired by the people. And it turns out it was desired. So here we are. I'm making it. So, guys, I had court last Monday, and I had a contempt hearing held against me by Judge Charles Johnson in the Vigo Superior Court 1. And I want to get into the story. I don't want to be responding to the comments. I just want to break it down and get it out there. It's extremely stressful for me to talk about. It's been extremely stressful for me since it happened to think about, and therefore I want to get this out there to you all. So here's how it all started. A week before court, Tuesday, the week before, I entered the court's office to formally ask permission from the judge to record his court on the date of my trial. I do this because I am certain that I will not get a fair trial. If that is to be the case, I intend on having an accurate record of events during the trial. When I asked to get a piece of paper so I could ask permission, the ladies in the office, Julie, the court reporter, and the clerk, Susan, told me I had to contact my public defender. I told them that what I was doing was completely irrelevant to my criminal case, that this is not a motion with the court. It's simply me asking permission to record. They continued to tell me that I needed to go to my public defender. My public defender has shown himself to be a complete joke, and I knew that he probably doesn't want a trial recorded either, as he would probably do a terrible job and doesn't want a video record. By the way, my public defender is the same one that represented Mr. Joseph Davis in his bench trial in the city court, and he failed there, even though Joseph Davis was completely innocent, and he will be proven to be most likely. So I told them at the court's office that my public defender will not file a motion for me because he is incompetent. Eventually, they called the bailiff, and I told them, since they were threatening me, since they called a guy with a gun to come and remove me, I just basically told them that they were ignorant of their jobs, and I walked out. Now, 6 days later, I showed up to court. I saw Michael Brewer, my public defender, and asked him, as I was instructed by the court staff, to file a motion on my behalf saying that I can record the court on the day of my trial. He said outright, I am not doing that. I asked him why, and he said, because I won't. We went before the court, and these are the non-official transcripts. In other words, they're done by my memory. And I want to show you all what I've got here as I'm reading it, because it's a long thing. It's almost verbatim, I'm sure. I've got no way of exactly remembering because the court won't release audio recordings that they take. So we're going to show you guys my screen here as I'm reading it. All right. This is Michael Brewer. Mr. Hendry has been offered a pretrial diversion. Sorry, Michael Brewer is my public defender for anybody who didn't know. So, Mr. Hendry has been offered a pretrial diversion. He requested that I file a motion to allow him to record court proceedings. I told him I wasn't going to file that. That would be something that he would have to proceed pro se if he wants to go that route. So at this point, I think we need a further proceeding set if Mr. Hendry would like to represent himself. Then I say, Your Honor, I don't see the reason why my attorney would have a problem with audio and video records being taken in the courtroom that he's operating in. Charles Johnson, the judge, says, I'm going to cut you off, Mr. Hendry. I'm just going to deny it either way. So you could file it. You came into my courtroom last week and you berated my staff, and that will not stand in my court. I've been pretty generous with you so far, and that I will not have any more of that. Okay? Do you understand? You come in here again and I hear anything. You come in here again and I hear anything, you're going to have a contempt hearing, and then you're going to sit in jail until we get this sorted out. Okay? I begin to look at him. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're just kind of staring at me. I then respond, oh, yeah, I understand. Charles Johnson replies, okay. And then he says, do you have something you would like to say to my staff? I reply, no. The judge goes, you don't want to apologize for coming in here, being rude and calling them names? I say, I don't recall calling them names, Your Honor. Charles Johnson, the judge, that's not what they told me. I respond, okay. I don't know. The judge goes, we've got a final pretrial conference at September 25th. The hearing was ending. So I say, actually, Your Honor, I'd like to, Charles Johnson chimes in immediately. I'm done with this hearing. And he yells it. So then I get up, I walk over to my mom who's attending this hearing because it's very close by her house. And my mom loves me very much. I then go over to my mom and I say, let's head out, Mom. As I was walking out, I waved goodbye to the judge as I noticed he was staring at me in a very disrespectful manner. After waving at the judge, Judge Johnson says, have a seat over there, and indicates to a section of his courtroom. I asked him, why? He says, have a seat over there. Then he tells my mom, ma'am, you can leave, but you need to stay until, and then he looks at me and he says, but you need to stay until the end of court, and we will see about having a contempt hearing. At this time, I was very scared, as I felt any expression, even an innocent hand gesture such as a wave, could land me in a cage for up to a year. This judge was unhinged. So in fear for my life and my liberty, I called an attorney in the courtroom that I know to try to find out what I should do. And I called an attorney instead of consulting my public defender because my public defender has expressed that he is not willing to do anything for me. The judge continues to stare at me while I'm on the phone with my attorney. He screams out, are you on your phone? Are you out of your mind? Get up here. We are holding a contempt hearing. I say, I was calling my attorney. The judge responds, your attorney was sitting right next to you. I said, he's a civil attorney. Then my attorney walks back into the court. Judge Johnson says, Brewer, Mr. Hendry was calling somebody on his phone while sitting in the back, so I'm going to conduct a contempt hearing. Michael Brewer says, okay. Then he looks at me and he says silently, if you don't apologize, you're going to jail, even if you don't believe it, or you do. The judge starts making a record. He goes, this is Charles Johnson, presiding judge, Superior Court Division 1, 84 DO1-2212-CM-004475, State of Indiana versus Craig Hendry. Now, I noticed when he was doing this, he began to stutter. So I don't exactly remember what he said, and I have a very good memory. As most of you who watch my videos know, I can most of the time quote laws verbatim, even though I don't have them in front of me. And quoting people is actually a lot easier, especially in a stressful situation like this. But he began to stutter, so I kind of paraphrase what he says. Charles Johnson. Mr. Hendry was leaving the courtroom, was disrespectful to the court, to our staff. So he was ordered to remain seated until the rest of the hearings were done. Then he was going to be excused. Now, he says this, but he's lying. He never said that I was going to be excused. He never indicated I was going to be excused. If I was going to be excused, he should have let me walk out of that courtroom. It makes zero sense if he was going to excuse me, to hold me. He essentially detained me for waving at him. He's lying. And if he's watching, if you think that I'm lying, if you think that I'm lying about you lying, Charles, sue me. This is the judge continued. Now he began talking on his cell phone. There's been a motion presented that was not concerning any sort of video recording. There's still the standard court policy that all cell phones will be off and not spoken on during court hearings. This is interrupted court proceedings. Sigh. I got the sigh in there. It appears that the conduct was done out of defiance and disrespect against the dignity of this court. Mr. Hendry, is there anything you would like to say at this time? Then I come in. And guys, I apologize if I've disappointed any of you by saying this. But keep in mind, a contempt of court conviction in the state of Indiana carries a year in jail. The charge I'm in court on carries a maximum of 90 real days in jail. I did not go to this court hearing intending for these threats to be made against me. So this is why I say what I say next. Your Honor, I was on my phone because I'm honestly very scared right now. I wanted to call him, my attorney, out in the hallway, but I was told to sit down. And I wanted to talk to him because he is a civil rights attorney, and I really don't know a lot. And I apologize for disrespecting your staff in any way last week. I see that that's very upsetting, and I was heated, and I shouldn't have been last week. I'm a human, and I get annoyed, and that was just a poor judgment call on my part back then. Then Mr. Johnson chimes in and says, Mr. Hendry, we've got a fair amount of time left on this docket, or I think he says a fair amount left on this docket. I'm going to accept your apology, but if there are any further issues, I'm just going to have to go back to jail, okay? And I believe what he meant by saying that was, I'm just going to have to send you back to jail if there's any further issues. I don't want any further issues. Just come in and be respectful. That's all I ask. Mr. Brewer is a very good attorney. He will handle this case very well. I'm sure you've got a question you probably need to ask him. If you've got another attorney on something else, that's fine too. And the intent of you coming in here is not to scare you. And I don't want it to make you scared. I understand you're upset about the way this proceeding is, but we're going to have to get through it. We've got the jury trial set if we get to jury trial. And that's kind of the end of my memory, guys. But I want you to know that that is accurate. My reputation as a journalist is on the line here. And if anybody were to sue me over the allegations that I've just made, that this occurred in the courtroom, I'm very confident in defending myself in court. I'll put it like that. Now, guys, like I said in the post, and like I said, probably somewhere in the description, that this was one of the most stressful days of my life. You can't underestimate just how stressful it is. All right, but after this happened, after the judge basically lets me go, he chimes in and indicates that he thinks that I think I should get a different public, or I should go pro se. Because the public defender office allegedly will not give me another public defender. It's Michael Brewer or nobody else. I'm only entitled to Michael Brewer as an attorney. That's according to the Terre Haute Public Defender's Office that Michael Brewer is representing. So I asked the judge, I said, no, I don't want to go pro se. I just like a real public defender. He says to me, you need to contact the head public defender. So I did. Immediately after court, I used the adrenaline that was pumping through my veins, and I ran directly over to the public defender's office. I left a note with them indicating that I needed to speak with the head public defender, saying who I was, saying that I had an open case, saying that I was represented by that office. That was last Monday. I've not been called since then. I called them since then and left a message and have still received no reply. After court, I also called the civil rights attorney who I called in the courtroom. He told me it would be $2,000 to get him to represent me on this criminal case. If anybody has a desire to help with this, I am asking for help with that fee, as I know this attorney and he does good work, but he works hard too, and he deserves to be paid for it. My Cash App is in the description, as well as my PayPal. Any help would be appreciated. I want to tell you guys about my experience after this court date. I went back home and got around 12 hours of sleep over the next 3 days. I've had an elevated heart rate, as this watch has been telling me. I don't know that for sure, but the watch is telling me. And I've overall just been feeling very scared. The freedom of expression is truly dead in Indiana. Charles Johnson is one judge of many that is putting the nail in its coffin. And by the way, Charles, again, if I'm lying about anything I said on this live stream about you, sue me. Same to you, Michael Brewer. These slime balls are trying their very hardest to ruin me and silence me and probably cause me traumatic brain, just probably they're trying to screw with my head. We'll put it that way. They're traumatizing me. I've always heard if they really want you gone, you must be doing something right. I certainly hope that that's true. I want to tell you guys also, I mentioned earlier that the public defender said I was offered a deferral agreement. And actually, I might have that on my person to be able to show you all. I do. So a deferral agreement, I want to tell you guys about it before I go on and show you my deferral agreement. So the deferral agreement that the state that's offered me is a deal in which I do not admit any guilt, and they dismiss the charges. But the catch is I essentially cannot be charged with a crime for 12 months. That's 12 months after I signed the plea. My question is, if I'm being prosecuted on 3 other charges I received without committing a crime, I did not commit a crime, and I've been charged 3 times. 4 times if you count the civil charge that I went to jail for 5 days for. I sat in jail for 5 days because a judge got his ego hurt. He told me I could apologize and get out of jail anytime I wanted. I sat in jail for 5 days just to show him that not everybody in America is going to fold to these people. Now, unfortunately today, or on the day that I'm reading you this unofficial transcript of, I wasn't willing to risk it because I did sign a deferral agreement on a felony case out of Lake County. That is, the felony is a scary thing for me, guys. Like I said, they're scaring me everywhere. They scare me in Lake County. They scare me in Vigo County, and they're scaring me in Boyd County, Kentucky as well. But so the deal is, my question is that if I've been charged for not committing a crime, how am I to trust the state to not charge me again in the future? I already don't trust them with the first deferral agreement. So that's why I haven't been going out and auditing as much as I have. That's why I'm bringing you guys content based on my own court cases, because they have chilled my First Amendment right to go out and record police through these plea deals. How am I to trust them to not charge me without me breaking the law again? I can't. Essentially, what would happen is 11 months in, or what could happen is 11 months into my deferral agreement, I could get charged frivolously for not committing any crime, and they could rescind the deferral agreement, and we would be back to square one awaiting a trial. That's why a deferral agreement is not attractive to me, whereas it might be to somebody else. It might be to somebody who actually committed a crime. But that is not me. And guys, so I really want to say thank you all for being here. Thank you all for joining me and paying attention to this. It's scary for me to even come out and tell you all about this, because there is a rule, a judicial rule in Indiana that says that you can't record any hearings. Now, I didn't record it, but I have a good memory. And I'm scared that these people may just try to threaten me some more in the next court hearing because I brought you guys this story. And of course, they'll be concerned because I brought it to you extremely accurately as well. So guys, I wanted to tell you, this judge is in Vigo County, Indiana. I see Civic Duties up here. Josh, if you'd like to come up here onto my live stream, I'd be glad to have you and talk to you about this. We don't have too long. I think I've got about 20 more minutes on this live stream that I want to talk to you guys about. I want to show you all the deferral agreement. We are going to be showing you the deferral agreement. So if anybody's in here right now, they want to see it, stick around. We're going to get the deferral agreement in front of the camera. I just am going to have to work that out. So guys, it's Vigo County, Indiana. It's Superior Court 1. The judge is Charles Johnson. And there's more to this story as well, so stick around. Let's get into that right now. Civic Duty, we're going to send you the StreamYard link, and we'll get you in here if you want to be in here. All right. Guys, Civic Duty is about to join us, I think. He runs a great YouTube channel on the other side of Indiana. I'm on the west side. He's on the east side. And if he can join, he might be coming over. But regardless of whether he joins, go ahead and drop him a subscribe. Tell him that Craig sent you. Tell him that Hendry sent you. I see a lot of people in my comment section right now that have sent me messages from Indiana talking about their own experience with the corrupt judicial system. And this is bad. So guys, I'm going to show you the deferral agreement right now. We're going to try to get it up. If anybody does actually want to look at it, take a good look at that. Oh, we're going to have to take the blur off here. We're going to take the blur off of the background. Do that. All right. Here is the deferral agreement that they offered me. If anybody would like to take a screenshot of that and read it. The state agrees to withhold prosecution and to dismiss the case listed above at the expiration, at the expiration of this 12-month agreement if the defendant fulfills the terms set forth in Section 2 of this agreement. However, the defendant's failure to comply with any conditions of this agreement, including timely payoff of all fees and costs, may result in the state proceeding with prosecution. Okay. They even actually in this agreement work faithful and suitable employment. Who determines what employment is suitable? That's what I want to know. Who determines what employment is suitable? I'll tell you who. The prosecutor determines what employment is suitable. All right, guys. So we're going to bring Josh in here. Josh, thanks for being here, man. I want to talk with you about this issue. I want to tell you what's going on, and I want to know what you think about this. So, guys, this is Josh with Civic Duty. He is a monster, as it describes him on his name tag there. I share a lot of his videos. He does great work in Indiana.
And I do want to thank you for that.
Yeah, and thank you, man. Thank you for doing what you do, because right now and in all of history that I've lived in, you are the bravest Hoosier when it comes to standing up for our rights. And so I thank you for that. But let's go on. So this is the deal with this Judge Charles Johnson. And we're going to get a picture of him up. He is the guy in the thumbnail of this video. But for anybody who's been following this case, which is a lot of my subscribers, thank you very much. Everyone knows that I was charged with this back in February, the police report was filed back in February of 2022. And at that point in time, I am not completely sure, but I suspect that Judge Charles Johnson, whom I cannot find any picture of at the moment, right?
Why is that? Like, I tried the same thing with Nick Berry, could not find a picture of his ass.
Well, obviously it came up when I was doing the thumbnail, but I don't know. It's not showing up. So, guys, this guy worked for the prosecutor's office before he became a judge. And it just so happens that I was charged with the crime could have been the same exact time that he worked for the prosecutor's office. Now, I will tell you, in the state of Kentucky, they've told me, the judge in Kentucky has told me that is illegal. It's a conflict of interest, and she removed herself from the case. She brought me up there immediately just so that my kid didn't have to sit out in the car and wait forever. She brought me up there and said, I know you, Mr. Hendry. I recognize you. I'm aware of your case. I was in the prosecutor's office at the time that this case was launched. And because of that, I am going to be removing myself from this case because I can't trust myself to be unbiased. Now, that judge was very nice. She was very polite, and I have nothing but respect for her, especially since she got my kid out of that county as fast as possible. What's your take on that? Have you heard anything about a judge being in the prosecutor's office, creating a conflict of interest in the state of Indiana? What do you think about that, Josh?
When me and Arnett sat down before we had the whole falling out, we talked about conflict. He said even talking to somebody about stuff, having knowledge of the case before the evidence is presented is a conflict in itself.
Right. And so in that, and so he might be feigning the idea that he doesn't have knowledge of the case. But let's be real, Josh. What's your experience when you make a video on a county or when you make a video on a city? What would you say that most county officials are aware of the incident? Or would you say
absolutely.
That it's right? It's the biggest deal in most of these counties.
Especially depending on the size of the county too.
Right. And Vigo County is a little bit of a bigger county. But I went hard on these people. I mean, these people didn't stand a chance against me. I was up here every single night. Me and Tyler were up here every single night bringing you guys footage of, cop watching, audits. all the time. So they all know who I am. Anybody in the prosecutor's office knows who I am. These people are ridiculous. There's
I
five.
used to joke and say that probably about 30% of my viewers and my views on my video were them, and the repeat watchers were probably them.
Well, hey, you probably have seen it. I had a sheriff's deputy make that same claim about my videos.
Oh,
He
I
says,
believe it.
you know that it's only cops that watch your videos. By the way, put a 1 in the chat if you're not a cop and you are watching this video. Jordan Allor, if you're watching, look at all those 1s, man. They ain't all cops, you know? So, but right. It's a big deal in the county that we do it in. We bring a lot of attention. They don't like us. And so I find it extremely hard to believe that Mr. Charles Johnson did not have any knowledge of the case prior to taking it as a judge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. And then also, have you ever been offered a deferral agreement, man?
I have not, but they gave one to the mayor's brother when he tried to yank my body cam off.
Right. They only really give it to people that they like, love, or they don't have a case against.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a quick plea agreement, basically.
Yes, it's a plea agreement that nobody
and inactive probation. Yeah, a plea agreement and inactive probation all at the same time. You're hooked.
Right. It's just like it's a plea agreement that's literally off the book. So it's like the reason that they're giving it to me is because I've got one in Lake County. Lake County's already been served a tort claim. They already know they're getting sued. You know, this is just a way for them to say, look, we're not admitting fault, but you're not admitting fault, and we're not going to criminally prosecute you. That's basically what it is. And so that's what they're giving me. And I took it in Lake County because it's a felony case, and I'm not willing to go to trial because people do get convicted by juries, right? I'm not even sure that jury selections are completely not corrupt. So there's that. So I'm more willing to take a Class B misdemeanor to trial than I am a felony. You know, understandably. Yeah. But Josh, what's been going on with you, man? What have you been up to? I see you working in Hendry County.
Yeah, Hendry County. Hendry County is the county you need to stay out of. You will go there and they would be like, ooh, we can hook his ass quick.
Oh, yeah. I saw that old guy, man. That old guy was just wanting to get beat up.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the live from Friday?
I didn't see the live. I'm going to watch it. I've been meaning to watch it. And, you know, everyone watching this should watch it as well.
They threatened me with criminal trespass for having my camera / phone and attempting to go into the Justice Center to the clerk's office. And
I also saw that you let him off easy this time. You sent him the relevant information. And
I let him off easy on the criminal stuff, like the criminal trespass, him being wrong. I let him off on that, but the other one he's going to have to pay for.
Okay. And see, I think that's reasonable of you, man. I think that's very reasonable. We just zoomed right in, didn't we? We're filling up the whole screen. So, guys, I've been neglecting the comment section. I see that we've had a few super chats, and I do want to acknowledge those. We've got the Smoking Auditor. This is his, it looks like, membership anniversary. He's been a member for 14 months. He always is in my live streams. Thank you so much, man. You're great. I think we're friends on Facebook. Reach out to me, brother. And then Lenny. He's been a member for 7 months. Lenny's been one of my longest supporters. He's been a member for like longer than 7 months though. It's just not showing that. WATP, Lenny. And then Brandon Mitchell, member for 2 months. Thanks, Brandon. Constitutional Freedom Fighter, $10 super chat. Respect 1,000 decisions for making your own decision on your freedom. No one else matters. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate that sentiment a lot. And then Question the Answers, $5. Thank you, Question the Answers.
I was a little mad at you though earlier today. How do I get the frauditors to start attacking me, man? You know, the frauditor troll people and stuff. Like I type in my name and frauditor, almost nothing. But you're all over the damn place up there.
I know. I can't get away from it. This is really the way that you get the frauditors onto you, man. You're doing it. So you kind of were focused on Winchester for the longest time. But I see you're you're expanding, you're getting your views are blowing up. And in the past week, your views are blowing up, man. Your channel's blowing up. All you have to do is be a successful freedom fighter, do it for a long time, speak sense, and love liberty. And you'll do it, man. You're on your way. They are going to hate you.
The only one I've seen so far was the stuffed animal that looked like a butthole mouth talking.
I don't even know him anymore, man. Really, the only one that I know is Frauditor Troll. He does good work. I laugh at my own videos on his channel. I don't care what anybody says. Like he's a funny guy, whether he's a snake or not. So I watch him, but the other ones I don't watch. I have no time for it.
One of the things that kills me the most is he talks about you actually going out, doing work, recording, editing, putting the video up of your own raw content, and talk shit about you not having a job and you have nothing better to do, as he's stealing your work and your videos, talking crap about it, making money.
Absolutely.
And you're the bad guy.
I know. And not only that, man, but we have, I don't know that we have, but I would say we have one of the most dangerous jobs in the US when it comes to just risk levels in general. I don't fear for my life most times when I'm out. There have been a few times, like actually the case that we're talking about now. They pulled guns out on me. They had the flashlights on me and they had guns out on me. That was a time when I did fear for my life.
I kind of talked about that last night. Is we're more in an age where when we were younger, I know you're still kind of younger than me, but when I was younger, cops weren't this scared of shit. Now
right,
it's like,
men.
Yeah, now they're so afraid of everything, and the top priority is to make it home to your family no matter what. And it just wasn't like that. We actually had real men when I was growing up that said, I'm going to run into that building that's on fire. It's going to suck if I don't make it home, but I'm doing my job.
Or I'm going to go save those small children who are being attacked in a school.
Yep.
It's insane what they do, and they hide behind officer safety. And I don't want to share the video on it. James Freeman has a video where he shares the police training facility for some state, and they say it. They're like, if you can't kill a grandma, if you can't kill a baby, this job isn't for you
to be here. Yep.
Yes, and they're not lying about it. They're open about it. And that's the thing. Back to what I was saying is we have a very dangerous job, and I don't know about you, but I've never won any money from a lawsuit. I didn't go into this thinking I won a lawsuit.
No, I honestly didn't start this trying to do anything. I was just like, I can't believe this shit's happening. Good thing I recorded it. Let me show it to some other people and see what they think. And then before I knew it, people were like, subscribe. And it was like, oh, okay, I'm doing this YouTube thing.
Right. And I started it. Me and Ty started it just because I've been extremely passionate about it for 5 or 6 years now. And I kept telling him, like, I want to do something. And he looked at me one day and he's like, let's go do it, dude. And we went and did it. And we just recorded, got it started, man. It was the Greene County video where we went to the sheriff's department and denied their request to put on a mask. And we blew up really because of Lackluster. You know, it all happened. It wasn't intentional to happen like this. But they act like, you know, we're in here to get clicks and views. And obviously, you know, I've made this into my living now. So one of the goals is to make a living off of it. But
I tell them straight up, I said, you're correct. I am trying to get clicks and views, but not for the money aspect, to spread the word to more people so they can see what's going on, so more people can wake up. So you are correct. It is for the clicks and views, and the shares. And
yeah, absolutely. The more attention that we bring to these situations, the safer everybody is, you know, and so that is what it is. Euphoria is the goal, right? We'll never reach it. Corey Steele, thanks for being here, brother. But yeah, so they say that we are out here trying to cause problems. We're really just out here recording what they're doing. And if they weren't doing anything that they thought the public wouldn't like, they wouldn't be worrying. But they are. We are a problem.
From yesterday, there was 13 sheriff deputies that showed up, and the elected sheriff looked straight at me and said, look what you're doing. You're wasting the taxpayers' money. And I looked at him and said, I didn't call you. I'm not the one who made the call. I'm not the one who showed up 13 deep.
I love it how he's insinuating that you actually have the money to waste.
Yeah.
You know, you've got no access to any of this money. He's the one wasting them. Wow, it's insane. It's insane. But guys, I don't want this live stream to go on for too long. Civic Duty, Josh, thank you for joining me, man. I really appreciate you coming up here and giving us your opinions. Just before we leave,
I didn't stand you up.
I really do appreciate it, man. I'm sorry about that.
Hey, no problem.
But guys, before you leave, we got 159 people. We got 164 people, looks like. I'd like to see Josh get at least half of that in new subscribers if you all aren't already subscribed to him. So guys,
I'm not worried. I'm more thumbs up this damn video. There was like 40 something when I was on there. Oh, 154 now. I'll shut up.
All right, we're up there. We're right where we want to be. But guys, go subscribe to Civic Duty. He's doing work in Indiana. If you miss seeing the Indiana tyrants in action on my channel, you won't miss it on his. He's over there interacting with them on a daily basis, and he's uploading videos as often as he can. So guys, thanks for hearing the story. All the links that you'll need are in the description. Have a good day, and thanks for being here. Bye-bye.